Carl and Lou here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for sure. And it's Freddy's Nightmares, an episodic recap. Episode 5 of Season 2, Memory Overload. And actually, the title makes a lot of sense. The first one is very much based upon memories.
Yep.
The second one, Memory Overload, computer related, all makes sense. So not the worst title. Directed by Don Weiss, written by Michael Kirschenbaum, thank you for that. The cast: Andrew Prine as Professor Charles Wyndham, Carl Chandler as Chuck, Alex Cord as the General, Karen Landy, Barbara, Eileen Seeley, Millie, Winifred Friedman, Jane, and Joseph Carley as Joe. Right, 2 segments, one way stronger than the other. Still not great though, still not great, but I appreciate the twist on the formula that does. Now we will say these are Freddy's Nightmares. This is classic Freddy's Nightmares.
Yeah.
He's not involved in any way, shape or form. I know the overarching thing is that he's influenced in some way or another, but I would struggle to, particularly in the first segment, work out how that works, because it seems to be that's more about trauma than anything else. Sometimes that's perfectly fine. I think in regards to the first story, it's fine. I think the second story could have used him in a better way.
More fun with that.
Particularly with the computer aspect of things, because that even ties into some things that Freddy might have done in films and elements like that. But we do have what I think's an entertainment segment, and then one of the most completely forgettable segments of all. And the first story kind of revolves around a washed-up alcoholic Shakespearean professor named Charles Wyndham, played by Andrew Prine. He is chewing the scenery, I'm going to say. His acting as a sort of drunk thespian it's over the top. It's a little bit too much at times, but it is fucking entertaining, so I'm going to give it that. Do you know what I mean? And particularly as his introduction in his class, and it's one of those sort of modern universities where it's, I don't teach you, you teach me.
And it feels like it's adults, like night class. It's not kids.
I mean, it is supposed to be they're late teenagers. It is supposed to be that.
I put them as
college kids.
I put them as like adult learning.
No, it is college kids. It is that, but it's one of those like, you teach me. Let's go. We're not gonna have class inside today. We're gonna have it out on the lawn and stuff like that with added booze, because he's clearly an alcoholic. But his introduction is very entertaining. Like one of the students mouths off, so he rips his eyes out. We were like, what the fuck is going on? It's a theatre show. It's part of the act and all that, and everyone's impressed. Particularly a couple of female students are like, ooh, he's so impressive. They even turn up at his door and all that, but he's not like, oh yeah, come in and bang me or anything like that. He's more interested in the bottle. It is one of those it's one of those where they're like, oh, I've got tenure, that's why I can drink and be wasted all the time. It's like, that's not really.
I'm pretty sure it won't cover you for crimes.
There's still crimes, and you're still an alcoholic, and that's going to be a problem. Do you see what I mean? It's not that, whatever. But actually, you think, okay, because earlier on you think, okay, it's good, based around him and those probably 2 female students. No, it's
completely off the.
It changes tack completely at the apartment. Well, actually, it's about a former student named Chuck. So Chuck arrives, and Chuck has run away from the military. He's deserted. He's a deserter. And basically, he's come to his old professor for help. Now, Chuck is highly strung. Chuck is so highly strung that there are times where I think he comes across dangerous. But he's come to his old professor because his old professor, encouraged him. What he really wants to do is be a poet. He wants to continue his poetry, and his old professor encouraged that and stuff like that. And Charles Wyndham, professor, he doesn't really know what to do here, but I guess he feels some responsibility towards Chuck, so tries to help him. However, in doing this, he has to keep him hidden and away from his military father, the General, who is, every stock version of a military father ever. And the idea that, they're going to come and take me back and they're going to shoot me for desertion as if it's like the 1800s. That kind of thing. The story plays out more like I thought was going to lead towards like Chuck snapping. And killing the professor, because actually he's a danger to himself and others. But it's not quite it. This is one with a twist, basically, because this isn't really about Chuck at all. It's actually about the professor, as it's revealed that basically Chuck doesn't exist. The General is his father. This is childhood trauma, where basically he could never live up to what his father wanted. His father, the General, died and stuff like that, and he's never been able to get over it, which is why he's turned to the bottle. Very, very cool idea. that needs way more time and less nonsense around it.
Yeah.
Instead of making that a twist, make that clear early on to us, so we follow him and his experience and understand better on how things link. Instead, they want to make it a twist. We're supposed to go, oh, what a twist. And instead, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Nice for you to go in a little bit deeper and have it a bit more based around trauma. But it doesn't help the overall narrative.
It's too much.
It's still very memorable, though. Like, I can picture everyone's face now. I can even picture Andrew Prine's acting, over-the-top acting here, and I think that's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I think it's an entertaining entry as a segment. No, not for you.
I find it very boring.
Well, then you must find the second one excruciating.
No, I find it more entertaining than the second one.
Really? Because my biggest problem with the second one is that it's gone for a more comedic edge, but none of it works. None of it works at all. And what starts off as an intriguing idea, so basically... couple, two women, one of who is a woman that was in the class of Professor, there's your link, work at a credit agency, a powerful credit agency where with a tap of a button, they can get deny, ruin your credit rating, turn it into the best thing in the world. And as long as you're careful, apparently this won't be linked back to you either as well. Because one of them, the sort of, I don't know, the brattier woman... Because what they're doing, right, they're doing some, let's just lean to the cliches. They're doing two women here. One of them's blonde, good looking, has the dudes following her, and is a bratty bitch who uses her powers at the credit agency to get what she wants with men and stuff like that. The other is a little more demure, dressed more dumpily, that kind of thing. And she's like, oh, you can't do that. I just want to help people and stuff like that, who ends up being corrupted as well. But part of the story is also around the computer becoming sentient and talking to her because it wants to find out. Apparently, they know, the company knows someone is doing this. God almighty, like doing this, and they can't work out who it is. It's only two people, for God's sake. And so the computer's constantly asking for the help, and because she's screwed around with someone's credit rating by accident and then ruined their life, she's constantly trying to fix it, so she ends up having to go inside the computer system, and it's like a crystal maze, if you know a zone really in there, really cheap looking computers and like sparks and stuff like that. It's all done with its tongue-in-cheek. It's trying to be funny. It's certainly weird. It does have some imaginative moments, do you know what I mean? But for the most part, I find this thoroughly dull. And the problem is, I don't get the humour. I don't think it's particularly funny. Like, you get this really long scene where that guy comes and tries to butter her up. She goes on a date with him, and then after that, she thinks she's been rejected, so she lowers his credit rating. Do you know what I mean?
I just find it just a bit more straightforward than the first one, so it was just...
Okay, so you think because it's got a more...
You've got characters are just easier to...
I suppose there's no twist, there's no narrative shifts, it's playing out as you expect. I kind of get your thinking there. Okay, so, well, I mean, we've got different views on both segments on this one then. Well, where does it sit overall for you? Because to me it's middling, because one entertaining segment, one not entertaining segment isn't enough to...
You need both of them to be like, oh, cool.
Whole.
So another middling...
Another middling segment as well. Here's the thing though, we are up to episode 5, and I will say we've not seen anything I would actively call bad yet. Like, bad. And that's a positive for season 2. I feel like writing wise and directing wise, I feel like everybody's kind of got the thing now. And all they're trying to do is come up with original ideas, which none at this stage is difficult in itself. And a lot of these obviously are going to be things that were written for potentially other shows that never got put, and they're just being then taken and going, well, how can we work this into Freddy's and stuff like that. In some cases, like this episode overall, it's not. This could be Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side. It could be anything. It could be an Are You Afraid of the Dark fucking episode. So I mean, like, that's how non-Freddy it is. But there's nothing wrong with that every so often, particularly as we did episode 4, which was Freddy Krueger related, and there are going to be more as well. Episode 5 of season 2, Memory Overload. What do you reckon? You got any thoughts on this? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.